What is going on, everyone? Welcome. It is Trading Trends with John Salama, CMT, and Rocco, the Maltese all-time high dog. What is going on? It is good to be back. Was out last week. The market obviously firmed up, put in that seems to be that short interim low, and rebuilt the portfolio today. We'll get right into it. Zeroed out the portfolio going into vacation last Friday, and today on the open bought IWM, Jets on the the Iran deal. Seems like we're still talking about this, of course, and then of course bought SOXX. So bought two on the 3 month or all-time high breakout, and then another on the 3 month breakout. Let us get into the doc, and thank you for joining. Here we go. Let's just go this right here. All right. Boopity boopity bop. Also, Wednesday. If you are in New York City, come on out to Ulysses at 5:30 p.m. The first Amplified Alpha meetup. I am excited. We have over 40 registrations on Eventbrite from all walks of life, plus professional traders I have in the industry coming. So it's going to be an awesome time. So please come out on a Wednesday. It's going to be really, really fun. It's also the day before the Knicks parade. Guess what? There's an all-time high parade today before the Knicks parade on Thursday morning. Take a look at this. The recap of the morning. Okay, low volume. We're on pace for about 40 million shares or so in SPY. True summer Monday here. Ethereum, my favorite greed to fear indicator, zooming up today, and it's been ripping for the past week. We'll take a look what it's done since I'm out. India. A nice move today, up 2%, obviously on the reduction of price of oil. We'll take a look. Moving that is, of course, like I said, the Iran-U.S. Potential deal here. So oil's collapsing and growth. You could have used this for Q, SPY. A lot of things are zooming higher today, truly. And then, of course, at the expense of energy and oil and volatility. New all-time high for small caps, equal weight. Love that confirmation. Semis, so you get your small, you get your big. Buy something. People are buying something and it's going higher from the lower left to the top right of your screen. Semis, that's more NVIDIA weighted. This is more, Micron in the field. Both are hitting all-time highs. The Dow making all-time highs. The industrials themselves, which pushed the Dow all-time highs. And of course, also the Eurozone making all-time highs. So this is a global bull rally all over the world. SpaceX is absolutely a growth, vehicle, absolutely risk on. A lot of people have been asking me about it. I am pro. I have early levels, obviously 150, 165, and about 175, just equal, Fibonacci retracements from the opening bell, 11 a.m. once it started actually getting liquidity. So, but yeah, I'm pro. Market all-time highs. VXX, by the way, new all-time low today. So it's just a gun to your head saying buy something. That's just simple math. Small drawdown in the short term potential, and then going higher. You'll see what I mean in the charts. And we said this was going to happen. I had a bearish distribution phase ending on or around the end of this week, going into new all-time highs on America's birthday, but it looks like the market doesn't want to wait for that. All right, let me get to the dashboard panel. We'll recap everything of the day, this morning session, also the past week. All right, let me go into the screen share. Boopity boopity bop. Here we go. Bang. So right here, Micron, oh my gosh, up 9.5%. They're loving semis today. You wake up, honestly, if the sky is blue, semis are probably up a couple of percent. Insane. Q's up 3%. I remember it was kind of a bloodbath, with that fearful day when the CPI, I believe it was a government number, that came out and really sold off ugly. We'll take a look at that, but getting it all back. NVIDIA back to that 210 mark with this nice 3.5% rally. SPY ripping 2%. We are less than 1% away from new all-time highs yet again. Of course, when Dow is doing it and SMH is doing it, SPY is not far behind. Of course, with VXX printing new all-time lows, this is going to likely get dragged higher. Intel up 3%. Tesla not really enjoying it today. Probably SpaceX getting a lot of that money for now ahead of that potential. I think Kalshi has a 50-50 merger in the next 12 months, Tesla and SpaceX. AMD up 7%. Marvell up 7%. If you want the 3XM ETF and you're really cracked out, you can play the SOXX up 15% in one day. My goodness gracious. Then again, I think SMH is up a ridiculous amount in the past 30 days. Microsoft up 2%. Look at this all green on the screen. I did not do this, like filtered. This is by volume. So people are just buying things. Apple up 2%. Meta up a massive 5%. Amazon up 3%. Google up 3%. Broadcom up 3%. SMH itself up 4%. Palantir up 4.5%. All right, let's get away from that. Intraday, obviously, so last night we saw some news potential. It was like yesterday that we were going to get a potential deal, I believe Trump said, and then boom, we gapped up to about 4 a.m. Eastern time, right around 7:51, and we continue to crank. You see liquidity entered the room at 9:30 a.m. Boom, absolutely zoom from a low of 752, we'll call it, and just continued zoom in all the way to nearly 757 at 12 noon sharp, and now it's clawing back a little bit of those gains, but still overbought on a short-term time frame. Some sells have begun to enter the picture after the euro close here, but still holding VWAP short-term on the day, 754.15. It may get to that point. I don't even think it does, and they continue to go higher. Let's get away from the noise, in terms of short-term intraday, and let's zoom out here on the longer-term view. This is a 1-year chart of SPY, of course. So let's take a look. Doesn't really matter what I'd said before. Let's just get right into it. The peak for me here, I'm a big cycles guy, and to me, it still looks like here, June 4th was, as you can see here, the actual high was put on June 2nd. That was at 760 even. There was still momentum, though. I have a couple different data platforms here. Basically sees until it gives out like the 3-day low, and then it sees that momentum is basically subsided. It's a little bit more art than science at times. So to me, I have the pivot, the top on June 4th, if that makes sense, giving bearishness honor through the 19th. Typically, it could be the 17th, though, if you actually take the high to low in terms of date. So that would be within a couple of days. But guess what? Market doesn't have to do exactly what you think it's going to do. Even if the forecast says it's going to rain, sometimes it doesn't have to rain. Look at this beautiful hold here down to these levels at 720. So I had gone away last Friday. I believe it was the whatever this was here, the 5th. Okay. So look at the 5th here, and then boom, we said we were going to have bearish distribution for about 2 weeks, like I just said, ending on around the 19th. Sometimes the market gives you a lot and a little and a little and a lot. Look what it did. Within 2 days after that, we went all the way from 745 all the way to 725, and now a beautiful recovery, good-looking candles. We spent, and this is insane about the market, we spent, I believe, 2 days under 50 RSI, and it's almost like you just hold something underwater, speaking of just being on vacation on the beach in the pool, and the floaty or the whatever you're holding underwater immediately rises to the surface. That is the pressure, the buoyancy of the buying pressure, truly, behind the S&P right now. You see big moves today in mags, obviously the Eurozone. The folks want to buy stuff. Okay, let's just put it simply there. And we had, so I give you these 2 days or so under 50 RSI. If you go back from the day of the ceasefire, okay, this is before Easter, you're going April 7th, we've spent 2 days, maybe 3 days under neutral RSI, and now we're June 15th. So this is now 10 weeks of above neutral easily. I mean, a blind person can tell you that observation, I think. So just very strong characteristic trend here. Nice move here. I really do believe, so let me get into the, what I'm thinking is going to happen here. I'm not so sure. This is a great looking candle. VXX all-time low. That's all I need to see that again, you're holding the device underwater and boom, it pops up. We're going to hold. You're lucky if you have an opportunity to buy around 740 to 745 in the next week. If you have the opportunity on some kind of fear or Iran doesn't agree to a deal or something, I would take it because there's very, very, very bullish developments happening in the background just globally. We'll look at the charts that are being pulled up here. This candle looks great. View up, just going short term again. View up on the day, 754 here. Looks like they want to take it higher. Obviously, we're on a dollar away here from new highs. I believe in the next 2 weeks or so, like I said, going right into, I guess now we're a little bit before America's birthday. What's up with UFC doing that event last night on a Sunday night at midnight? Who knew? Bizarre. But before America's birthday of the next 2 weeks, I do believe we will see 765, which is just within 1% above the former high struck on June 2nd. So things look great here. They did not hold a champ long here. It's kind of like how the Knicks lost only, 2 games since Easter. It's kind of like what the S&P driven by semis has done since April. A lot of things happened for the Knicks and for the country the week of that ceasefire, and you all saw it here break above the 200 moving average, and until honestly, the new floor is 720. I don't think anyone's going to let it go beneath that. So if you have your cost basis, anything after even a couple of weeks after the ceasefire, I think you're sitting pretty indefinitely, to be honest. My year-end target, I know I'm seeming like a little bit of rambling here. We'll get into the intraday stuff of the tape today. But The market looks absolutely fantastic. I don't think we're getting like a 330 fade. It's going to be low-ish volume through the summer, and folks are just going to inherit these, these higher highs. So chart looks great. Like I said, 2 weeks. I'm thinking by the end of the month, possibly July 4, we get to that 770. Maybe 776. It's really cute. I'm sure Trump will have a ball with it, but things look great. U.S. is the place to be. It seems World Cup, asset allocation, Knicks parade. A lot of things working right. I would say you might have a little bit of a red candle here dropping in the next couple of days to like 745, just because of the crazy bullishness. Whenever I see SOXX, the 3X S&P or semis ETF up 15%, it lets me give a little bit of pause. So if you get that pullback down to 75, dude, I'm telling you, take it, because it's probably going to 770 by July 1st. Let us see what's powering a lot of this move right here, right now. And Ethereum, oh my goodness gracious. I've mocked you for so long. Not today. You are leading the party, up 10%. Do understand that this thing spent quite a long time oversold. I mean, just talk about being sub 50 RSI. This thing's been crap since, what is this, Mother's Day? So May 13th, just 4 weeks basically. And it's still under 50 RSI. It's 43 here, not a ton of strength. Interesting looking candle. VWAP on the day will tell me where the road, the tire hits the road here. Obviously, you got really oversold. Confirmation here. RSI plummeting here to 16. A decent looking move. Now what in terms of Ethereum? My favorite, greed to fear indication. I don't think it's done yet. There's a lot of animal spirits and relief in the market. I think this can get to. This is honestly the poster child for if everything's okay, folks are going to get into Ethereum, and then albeit a crypto complex. Solana's doing a little bit better. Obviously, Ethereum and Bitcoin to an extent. I think this can get to about 14 quarter before it exhausts itself. That is what is that? About 45 cents away. So I think this has a couple more percent to go, and then I think it'll be done. Don't forget, this rally began off the absolute dead cat, lows here of June 5th. Rubber band usually gives and takes, so I'm not going to have exact 15 days for this, nor is it pretty much ever 15 days for any asset. But this one is a lot more crazy yo-yo, if you will. So does it end on the 20th and have this week of bullishness to get to 14 quarter? Yeah, probably. But after that, I don't want to do it. And that probably is going to correspond actually with the 50 RSI. If you start to get several closes, say 3 consecutive closes above 14 quarter, which is your 21-day exponential moving average, and we're above 50 RSI, maybe things are turning around for for Ethereum. And that's going to be a window into larger, risk appetite in crypto positions. For right now, though, this thing is still dead out of water for all of 2026 Ethereum, but it's trying to carve a heck of a rebound is Ethereum. In terms of trades, like I said, I think it'll have a bullish week. Be careful. Things are obviously super pumped. If you want to go out and buy like the September 14. I have to check liquidity. You can buy some September upside, sell some June against it. OPEX is this week on options expiration. So you're going to have your pick of the litter, I believe, for a lot of option strategies. So short term for this, I do think it has a little bit more to go. Alternatively, you could probably sell the 12-hour puts, check liquidity, see if, as always, juice is worth the squeeze. Number two, we've been this has been a whipping boy too. They've been hating Ethereum and they've been hating India. They both kind of sort of fell out of bed. Ethereum obviously first, but this and then bottomed more recently. So not exact identical pictures, but still in the doghouse. March 30th, this thing bottomed India. Now look at this. This is really trying to carve a comeback here. It's finally above 50 RSI for the first time since early May here. Decent looking candle, up 2% is India. Lower highs here, extremely heavy 200-day moving average. We keep on talking about the bull market has a passport, and typically it does. Looks like India is just enjoying the benefit of lower oil today. Where does it go? I think it does have a decent 10 days or so ahead, and it goes higher to this monster. Let me move that cursor so you can see it. I think it goes a little bit higher to this monster resistance at around 49.5, to be honest. I'm just not a believer, and this has been a decent already rally since 47, and India's not the most high volatile asset. Again, don't forget, these guys have a lot of the bank. HDFC is not hitting all-time highs like the rest of the banks are. Goldman, Morgan Stanley, a lot of global banks are hitting highs. India doesn't have them, and they also have a lot of like consultancy, Infosys, things that are being jolted to the downside in this new recalibration of software and everything else through AI. So India, tougher. I think has a little bit more to go. Tops, honestly, 50. Still not a believer. You can probably sell the 48 puts. Not going to pay, unfortunately. Otherwise, if you're crazy, kind of a betting man, yeah, I guess you could buy the SEP 50 calls, but there's something else better to trade than that. All right, speaking of better to trade, growth ETF. My goodness gracious. This is a almost 2 sigma move here. This is synonymous for you can use S&P up 1.9, but this is probably closer to your Q's constituency. Oh my goodness, up 2.8%. Just an absolute monster. Very close to, like I said, SPY and Q's. This one peaked on the 1st of June. Monster move today, up 2.8%. This is obviously very liquid. Now what is it over? The drawdown here for large cap growth. Again, I think this is fully headed to about $91 to put in new all-time highs just by a shade. And yeah, this is going to have a good 2 weeks. You could probably look at the SEP 91 calls. I actually kind of like that trade. Yeah, other than that, I don't think selling the 84 puts will pay you, but that one looks decent. Again, whenever I recommend a spread to buy, something 3 months out, they say those SEP 91 calls, sell some June 91s against it. Very unlikely that it's going to rip 4 points just this week. And then, of course, your SEP option is going to rip. So take the appreciation on that, and then you can consolidate and subsidize the cost on the other leg. All right, so that is what they're gobbling up today. If you are long Ethereum, India, or growth, congrats. You are getting the lion's share of the market today. Yes, semis is ripping. There's other areas, obviously. This is the ones that are having 2+ sigma moves. Let's see what is having multiple sigma moves to the downside. And oh my goodness, energy absolutely dropping today, 3%. And energy peaked March 30th, a couple weeks after the war started, 1 week before that ceasefire, which is this candle, 2.5 weeks before the ceasefire, that candle here. And now you had a higher high, a pretty wobbly kind of Wu-Tang Clan like W here. And then it falls off on the May Memorial Day highs. And now it's trying to hold this very important support of $55. Now what? Again, we're going to look at some different assets here. So this is energy stocks. We're going to look at, I believe, crude oil next. Understand the difference between bullishness and equity versus the actual oil commodity. So energy, I believe, obviously hit a huge tough spot today, down 3%. The 21-day moving average is $58. It lost that on this candle. They have stepped up to buy energy. Again, this is one of the 11 S&P sectors. S&P is getting much love literally all over the land. I've seen beautiful hammers on XLE several times here, to be honest. Yes, it's an ugly RSI. This has had ugly EKG is how I look at an RSI, and this is just not doing much of anything. I do think it'll find love. Oil obviously is holding it down. You have like Northern Oil and Gas, Chevron, Exxon, really getting hit hard today, 5-6+% in some instances, hence why this is down half that. I do think this wants to make a move potentially in the next week towards $60. So if you're really a bad man, have your tight stops because you're going contra the market here. But you could buy, I would just even buy closer to the nearest resistance point, like the 59 calls again in September. Be careful. You are, swimming against the current, but I don't think they'll let this puppy fall much further, below $55. So that is the call on that. So some trades standing out here. Now let's look at USO. Okay, that was energy stocks. This is actual US oil. Which you can see here is down 4.5% today, more than the actual equity. Equity gets the love. Okay, folks aren't going to give up on ExxonMobil forever because the Strait might have, who knows, tolls, no tolls, volatility for the next whatever months. So let's see what we can see from this chart here. This peaked on May 18th, USO here, and now it's at a critical point. Ugly candle today. Got a really not great looking doji here, down 4.5%. As I said, the 200 moving average is 93. And again, folks, do not want to. Thank you for the comments, Chris. If you have a ticker or whatever, go for it. I'll tell you my opinion. Again, so great looking hammers here too on oil. Reminiscent of what we just saw in oil. I'm sorry, of XLE prior. So now we're getting to a point here, $120 in USO. The RSI, I do want to mention, is the lowest since the day of the 52-week low, the day before Christmas. So that is like an eyesore to me. That typically tells me momentum, is going to go to the downside a little bit longer. I don't think they're done with it. All that being said, though, I do still kind of believe in this support here at 120. So what's the trade? Ugh. This one for me is a no touch. Personally, I would almost like rather touch the XLA. This one for me, there's much better things happening in the market. I almost wanted, I think it was a trade I said before, is just sell strangles, although that was actually on financials 2 weeks ago. No trade. I don't like stuff that's nosediving here with the RSI. Let's see where they close it today. Low is 119, highs 120, tight range. Looks like they want to lock it down here 4% on the day. See where it goes for the week, and this will unfold much more for the macro picture. But that is the story on USO, and this is a much bigger fold to me. VXX new all-time low. You are getting a bullish divergence here in that the RSI can't even scratch 34. So does this have a bump higher very short term? We'll take a look. What I did want to say, though, is from 2 weeks ago, I said once you have this fear, jobs, Iran, I don't know, whatever, you name it, Indonesia, who cares? Once it gets to about 27, I said that is going to complete the bear distribution part of the run, and then I get my spidey senses, and then I put the things together with the date cycles and everything else, and then I start looking at option chains, and it gets like very active. What happened here 4 days ago is we hit, look at that, 27.13. VXX exhausts itself around its 21-day exponential moving average. It's just not worth the cost of hedging. So as soon as it gets to that point, typically it starts to reverse. So that's how I use this as an indicator. Folks typically do the same thing on UVXY. So now for VXX, that to me was the run. This is maybe has another day spike or something like that to get to a 23 handle. I'm not so certain it does. And I do believe this plunders and goes lower for the next 2 weeks to about a 21 handle. This is an ugly looking candle. Again, the mixed picture I'm getting here is the divergence. You have a 34 RSI on an all-time low. Tells me that it's very possible, Iran comes out with something. This does move to 25 and then goes lower. And they'll probably jolt a lot of portfolios, obviously, because the move that would happen in real life is SPY would get to like 735. This would have this move, and then it would reverse. So if that makes sense. So in terms of the trade, I look at VXX, not for options trade itself, but to give me the overall environment of the land. And again, I think that's the best that VXX could do, that fear here from 23 to about 26. I would look for this to go south. Direction is more important than straight up time. I do believe this goes south and goes below 22.70 over the next 2 to 3 weeks. New all-time low today for VXX, down 6%. Yowza. That is more than oil. All right, let's look at the top 3 gainers of the past week, and this is fun for me because I was out last week, so let's recap up to the second right here, plus the past 5 trading sessions. Number 1, On Young. Oh, I hope you make a new high so I can buy you. South Korea up 14%. Oh, my gosh. In the past 5 days, even Rocco shook at that one. Up, almost 3% a day today, 2x. That to me is garnering strength, not losing it. Hopefully it breaks out very soon. Just a great looking candle. Look at the support here, an oopsie here on that May 19th break below 175, and it's held every day since discovering that price point on the first week of May. Overbought for many times throughout the year. Great looking chart. I have nothing else to say this. I'm not going to ramble. This is headed to about 220 to 225. It will be new all-time highs for Korea. Congrats to you, the gens out there. I strongly believe it's headed there. Flows are insane. No capitulation or any kind of sell side exits on 3 o'clock to the 4 o'clock. Institutional power hour looks great. In fact, it's the opposite. I imagine financial advisors are being demanded by their clients saying, get me in this by 4 o'clock. And that's the way the candles look to me. Trades. So I like buying the stock on the breakout. The highest close in EWI history is 216.70. As soon as we get a break above that, baby, I am in. I'm going to ATR position, size that position. This thing gives, and then it takes back. I mean, the volatility cuts both ways, and momentum cuts both ways on this. The trade is it's going higher. It's going to be super expensive. If you want to buy the SEP, 225 calls, go for it. I rather buy after the breakout on an ATR system. So it's 12.5. 2 times that is $25. Go buy the breakout at 217. If it goes against you by $25, get out because probably going to 180, something like that. You'll get a better setup. Otherwise, enjoy the gains. So that's the way to play these high, crazy movers. But EWI, the best trade anywhere in the world in the past 5 days. And today, my gosh, up 7%. That's moving like micron. Number 2, and of course, I've been talking about this, the junior miners, the gold miners, all of them. Oil energy is a massive cost for these guys. So this was a big conviction call for me. I said this trade, oil is going to stay high, gold miners are going to go low. And then that was my thing when I talked about it with JC on the morning show. It was that Monday. It was right here. And it went a little bit higher, and boom, the low came a couple of days ago. Looks like 5 days ago. This thing plunged all the way to 95, and now it's really been struggling with the 200-day moving average, a measure that no one even thought about selling this until May 19th, when that folks are saying, investors saying, you know what, this high oil thing is going to really be a drag on the cost of gold miners, and the margins and the upside is not going to be quite a loss versus what the semis are doing. And this is the calculation that investors worldwide are doing about a couple of days before Memorial Day weekend here, and it's still at this point. So what I believe is going to happen, when the chart tells me I love a rise of 200-day moving average, you got to give a dog a bone with that. It is at the crucial 50 RSI neutral point here. What happens? Okay, it's like the tug of war from the old Squid Game. What's going to happen? Who gets pushes the reins here? And look at that. It tagged the 200-day moving average today. It's up 8% today. VWAP on the day is 112.30. They just let it go under that by 10 cents. The low's 110, highs 114. I think this goes higher over the next 2 weeks. I do believe folks are going to say that the Iran, I feel like we're talking about this every day, but I do believe that the deal is finally here. VXX all-time low, RSP and SMH all-time high. Come on, the market's sniffing out. Obviously, SPY is going to go higher in the next 5 session stops, if not sooner, with the Dow doing it today. This is headed to about 120. So this is, I want to say it's a counter trend in terms of just a short term. Past month, this is a dog, but I do believe this may gather a little bit of FOMO here. If you start to get a close, obviously above 114, I wouldn't, purchase this right here. But if you're a gambling man, I do think it's possible you could make money if you do the SEP 120 calls. They're not going to be cheap, and you sell the June 120s against it. I don't hate that trade. Be on the lookout though for this candle. They shot it to 114. Now they're selling it off a little bit. I wanted to see, the way you had those hammers in oil and energy defend the asset. I'm kind of seeing the opposite right here, just short term in GDXJ. So I'm not going to get into position or anything like that. But I do love giving a benefit of the doubt to a strong performer like this. Another thing, don't forget, this peaked in March at $157. And the 200-day moving average is at $114. So that's GDXJ. And then, of course, Jets. Oh, so I said, I think at the top of the program when I rebuilt the portfolio in because I was zeroed out from vacation, I bought IWM, I bought Jets, and I bought SOXX. I bought IWM on the all-time breakout, same as SOXX, and I bought Jets to have a different time frame. Jets on the 3-month breakout. But this is ugly. Again, this is different ways to play oil. This is basically short oil. I don't love the candle here. I'm going to check this at the close closely. That's an ugly looking candle. Yes, a monster 4% move. The third best performer of any ETF over the past 3 days, up 11%. But I don't like this. The 52-week high is 31.33. We got to 31.31 today, and then they Dikembe'd the hell out of it. And it's 30.82 VWAP, and it's below that. So don't love what I'm seeing. I am in the position right here. We will take a look. The chart to me looks a little sloppy. I don't like this, exclamation point, but it's above 50 RSI where it's been for the past month. So I'll give the dog a bone. I still think the trajectory for this is higher, hence why I'm long, and I pulled the trigger on the 3-month breakout. And if you want to play along at home as well, the ATR is 102, basically 2 ATR system, so 30.70 right now. Go ahead, you buy it, although I'd rather wait for you to do it above VWAP 30.82, actually have a strength there. And then I do believe this has, like I said, probably move towards 31 plus, but be careful. Obviously, very headline driven, kind of a flattish 200-day moving average stuck here at 26.70. But again, a popular area of risk appetite for the market since May 20th, right before Memorial Day weekend, with a rise 200-day moving average and above that 50 RSI neutral point. So those are the 3 killers of the week. South Korea, gold miner juniors, and airlines. Obviously, all oil related. South Korea pays less for it. And of course, yes, AI memory is absolutely off the chain. Gold miners, cheaper energy costs, and then jets, airlines. Delta hit an all-time high today, for goodness sakes. They're getting cheaper costs. Okay, I don't want to kick a dead horse on this. If we already went through the tickers, I'm not going to, go nuts on it. Worst performer of the week. USO down 12%. Yikes. And obviously 4% of that coming today. We already talked about this one, but this is the worst place to be. If you were outright long USO, this was the worst place to be. Down 4.5% for the past week. We already talked about it in the opening. The lowest RSI, again, for USO since the week before Christmas when it had a 52-week low, $66. So energy is looking south for a minute. I do mean that literally and figuratively. All right, number 2, biggest loser, VXX. If you were just straight long puts and you thought the world was going to end kind of a thing, yikes, no bueno. Oil, number 1 loser. Number 2 is VXX. And here's a chart we didn't show before. This is similar to XLE. Not that. X to the O to the P is our 3rd worst ETF of the week, down 5%. Most of that today, but again, it kind of looks like a big, as soon as I see this, it looks like you're going to be in a long-term rectangle here, consolidating, doing not much between maybe like a 40 and 60 RSI. It reminds me of gold like a year and a half ago, and then it had this big kind of a breakout. XOP just kind of looks like that to me. So long no touch for a while, probably sell strangles, but be aware they are obviously super headline driven, but overall with a small mild trajectory up. So this to me looks like it's going to head towards about 168 and then get tired and exhaust itself. Again, investors and traders are much more forgiving of the equity than the straight USO or crude oil, US oil, Brent oil. So this, I do believe, gets to about 168 trades. Yeah, I guess I also like the support here, by the way, right here about 158 going back to early March when the war started. So I like that price discovery thesis there. Yeah, like I said, it gets to about 168. That's 8 points. Decent sized move. You can do the September 170 call, sell the Junes against it. Obviously, you can even lower the strike, sell 165s against it. And I think that'll pay. But yeah, this probably exhausts itself at 168, corresponding with a 50 RSI. Super important to focus on that neutral point. Okie dokie. Top 3 losers of the past 5 days. If you were long oil, VXX, and XOP, sorry, it's been on Rocco. Those are other places to be in the market. Top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you were long EWY, short USO, long GDXJ, congratulations. These are the trades of the week, and we already went through them to see if they have meat on the bone or not. We'll hopefully be back with another video on Wednesday before I head out to the Amplified Alpha meetup. If you're in New York City, come out to Ulysses Wednesday at 5:30. Anything else? I don't think so. Peace.